Hi there, welcome. How do you find peace, joy, and happiness again after an unfathomable loss? That's what I'm going to talk about today during this paddle. And I'm going to share with you the beauty of the river. And if you've tagged along with me much on my YouTube channel, I've shared lots of paddles with you. I thought, I'm going to the river today, and should I even do a YouTube video? What am I going to do about? I'm always on the river, you know. What am I going to talk about? What am I going to show? I've been here lots of times. I've got lots of videos about it. And I thought, you know what, Cammie? You've been at this YouTube thing for a year now. I just reached my year anniversary just a week ago. And we're in the first week of September here. And so the end of August was my year. And I didn't quit. Oh, many times I wanted to. And I've shared so much and different things with you all, my subscribers and people that don't subscribe and just stumble upon my channel, you know, over the year. And I'm like, oh, what do I do? You know, because I'm always almost in the same area. Best place for me, Northern Michigan. So I thought, you know what? I've shared so many different things, and I think it's time to dig deeper. I think that's what I'm going to call this content. Digging deeper. Or how do you find joy again and happiness after unspeakable loss? So, if you are in that place in your life right now, I want to invite you to tag along with me today. Tag along with me and just listen and watch the beauty that this river has to offer. Because I'm going to share a lot of that with you. And I'm going to share with you why this river is so magical for me in a little bit. But I wanted to do my introduction before I shared any more of the beauty and peace and joy with you. So stay tuned. So I'm going to be out here for about 4.5 hours today. I launched at Baxter Bridge here on the Manistee River, and I'm paddling to Harvey Bridge, which I've done. It's one of my favorite stretches. So I've done lots of video on this section of the river, and so I'm going to have lots of time to just share random thoughts that come to you about this topic. And as they come, I'll just share them. So this is going to be raw, authentic, real stuff that I'm going to share with you today. And it's going to be very personal stuff. And I'm just going to let it go and just put it out there. Because, you know, you never know who needs to hear your story. And what a shame when people keep their stories to themselves sometimes, because you just never know when your story will help someone. And I'm a true, firm believer in that. And I've shared so much of my life journey with people over the past many years. And I just haven't dug into it here on YouTube very often because, let's be honest, YouTube reaches worldwide. And sometimes your really deep personal things, you know, are just a little so sensitive and personal to you that sometimes you don't want to share them with just random strangers or people that might, I don't know, you know, I watch other YouTube people and they're always talking about the haters and the trolls and all this stuff. And I'm, you know, so you tend to shy away from sharing too much because of that reason. And so I think that keeps people from sharing a lot, because it's so sensitive that, you know, if the wrong word was said or the wrong comment, how devastating that could be. And because people are so cruel sometimes. And you think a topic that is really sensitive and painful, that wouldn't happen, but I've seen it happen. And but I'm not going to let it stop me anymore. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute, but let's just enjoy some more peace and beauty of this river, shall we? Wow, look at that orange against that blue sky. Beautiful. Okay, let's do some sharing time, shall we? Which is what this video is all about. So this river, it's the one place that I find the most connection with, the most energy, the most feeling, the most messages, the most I sense my son. And my son passed away tragically 3 years ago. And this is where I feel the closest to my son ever. His name was David, and he died 3 years ago. But I'm telling you, after his death, every time I would come to the river, and I was drawn to the river more than ever after his death. And I thought, well, because it's water and the peace and you're alone, I just felt this strong sense that my son was here. And I would paddle, and every paddle during it, I would talk to my son. I would wail, I would scream, I would sob, I would call out his name, I would hit the water, and just my tears would match the water of the river. And I just lost my joy. I couldn't feel happiness on the river. I couldn't feel joy on the river. All I felt was pain and sorrow and mourning every time I came to the river, but it was a deeper mourning, a deeper pain when I was on the river than when I was in the woods or anywhere else. It was just like this undescribable deepness to my grief and my pain. But that's what I want to share with you today. How do we find the joy and the peace and happiness after unimaginable, unfathomable, unspeakable loss in our life? I have. And I want to share that with you. And now I want to share more of the peace, and I want to absorb more of the peace while I collect my thoughts. And what I want to share, it'll come to me. And I'm going to just allow the river to talk to me. I'll allow my son David to be present and just enjoy. And when it happens, I'll turn the camera back on and share it with you. See those distant hills up there? That's also where I hike. And North Country Trail goes through those hills. Well, I just had a thought. Something came to me and spoke to me that I want to share with you. When my son first when my son first died, I took to the trail, to the woods as well. And I remember on one hike, shortly after his death, I was grieving, crying, sobbing, screaming, calling out to my son. You know, I just couldn't make sense of it. I just couldn't accept it. I was looking for him behind the trees still. My mind just wouldn't allow me to accept that my son was really dead. And I remember one hike, I just talked to David the whole time. I talked to him about his birth. I talked to him about his life. I talked to him about the challenges we face as mother and son. I talked to him about so many things because I said, you know, I got you now. You have to listen. you can't tell mom to be quiet or stop talking because now I got you. You have no choice. Oh, I didn't laugh at the time, trust me. But I talked to him the whole time, and 4 times on that hike, I just collapsed to my knees. Just pure exhaustion and pure grief. But one of those times, I felt like I heard him speaking directly to my heart. And I called out to him and God, what am I supposed to do with all this grief? What am I to do with all this grief? And I felt, heard my son and God say, Mom, share it. Share it. And at the time, I'm like, I don't want to share it. I can't. I don't want to. But I will never forget that. And it stuck with me. And through the years, 3 years, that feeling has never left me. And I have shared a lot of my grief journey with close friends and friends on Facebook. But I haven't shared it here on YouTube channel. And I just feel this strong desire and calling to start doing that. And not just that, but there's other things that I have experienced and whatever that I want to start sharing because it's just calling and tugging at my heart. But today is the first one. And it's about how to find joy and happiness again, somewhere that you have always, but through tragedy, lost. So I'm sharing today with you. David, I'm sharing. He's probably thinking, about time, Mom. So that's another thing that prompted me, and I just wanted to pass that along. Like I said, whatever comes to my mind and my heart, I'm going to share with you. So that's the thing that just came to my heart to tell you that. So so I don't go on and on and on and then you just tune me out. I think I'm going to do it in segments. I'll leave you with that for now. And then we'll enjoy some more of the peace and the beauty of the river. And I'll be back. So one thing that I see now, years later, when I first started paddling on the river after David's death, and it just brought me, I felt like so much pain and sorrow and no joy, no peace, and nothing. And I almost just gave up going to the river. It was just too painful. And but I didn't. And that's what I want to share with you at this time is I'm so glad I didn't give up, because now that I look back, the river gave me exactly what I needed at that time. A safe place to grieve. Raw grief. There was no one around. There was no one to hear me. There was no reason for me to quiet my screams or my wailing. I didn't have to be self-conscious. I didn't have to hold back. I could let the words go that were in my heart and my soul into the trees, into the air, into the river. And that is exactly what I needed at that time, looking back. So my word of advice, suggestion from my heart is don't give up. Don't give up on the things that once brought you the most joy, that feel like they're bringing you the most pain. Because at that moment, what the river was doing was bringing me the most healing. And so little by little, I gave myself permission to feel peace and happiness and joy. And every time I did, it expanded and expanded and expanded. And that's what I would pass along and share with you, that at first, and then I just continued, and I just listened to my heart and listened and believed what I know my son would tell me. And through intense therapy, I was able to really connect again with myself, with my heart, with the river. and with my son. I'm so thankful I didn't give up. So thankful.